is Derek Bertubin, and this is week 2 of Java 1, term 1307. And we're going to go ahead and cover the typical points. Specifically for this one of the plans for my project, walk through the code and see how it meets the rubric. I have a rubric right in front of me, and we're going to go through that. And then also, how did the lessons for this week go? And then follow up with a list of things that could use more clarification. And I don't know if I'm going to go in that specific order, but here I go. So we're going to take a look at the rubric packages. Well, there definitely were packages within the application. And if we change this perspective here, we're going to see, here we go. We got some packages here. We got the form elements. This is almost identical from week 1. We have the JSON handler. This actually technically is a class, so here we go. We got a class, and I assume this would be a 10. This is technically a class, so that's great. I didn't even consider that a class. And now as far as the JSON, since this is 2-in-1, and I might be stretching on this, but I believe that maybe there's a good, maybe there's not. In the logcat, I can get at least a response. But I don't think it's reading correctly. Let's jump over to the enums. And I do have enums here, and they do have purpose. Actually, they're the primary purpose. They're these are the non-mutable or immutable pieces of the app. And as you can see here, they're astrological signs. There's 12 of them. Here I instantiate and also prepare variables, strings, in order to review or assign the strings depending on what enum it is and which one I call. And then I can call these public methods either to get the number of the sign or return the sign name. Now this sign number is actually something that's going to come out in the future. But the main thing I wanted to test was get sign names. Now I also have sign descriptions that will come out, but before I did all that, I wanted to make sure that things were going to work. Alright, so I needed a few data types. In that, we're going to find that there are arrays. So we did Java arrays, we did ints. We got ints right here. That's great. We have strings. We have all the common ones. We have our for loops. The for loops were existing in the Java class. Then I don't know if it really works. We're going to see why. I don't know. Right now, there's a lot missing. Layouts were not utilized for proper display. Resources weren't used at all because I was stuck on other things. And events. I did have a click event, and we're going to look over here, and nothing happens here. But as we go over to the logcat, we're going to see that this says selected, and we have where is it at? Where is the bar for? Oh, full screen that for a second. No value for arrays. So we can see that we are in arrays. We can click it. We can go here. So the click event is targeting what it should target, but in order to pull out of the JSON, it's not doing. And the layout for the view isn't really showing up either. So that was a problem. Okay. I think for the format, it's formatted fairly well. So that's that. So that's the brief walkthrough of the code. I expect that I am missing a lot of things. I should probably, based on this rubric, should get close to a 75, maybe even less, because it doesn't do a lot of things. Now, the audience of my project, anybody who's interested in astrology, or even thinks they might be interested, it's point blank, it's very specific, it's very niche. How do the lessons go from this week? Honestly, I haven't really been this honest in a review about this question until today. The lessons were kind of choppy. I mean, the content was good. I think me getting the lessons, walking through the lessons, and trying to apply some of trying for me to be creative, presented more problems than just following the tutorial. So this is a very important part, is that now, we have these walkthroughs like this. It's perfect. Okay, cool. Since that's all we know, that's all we're going to do in most cases. So it really makes it hard for people to think creatively and go outside the box. Now, some of the guys have been able to do that, and we have no idea what their previous experience with Java is. For me, I watched a few videos right before this class because I heard how segmented and how a lot of things are missing. But then now we have a completely different modality and mentality coming into this class that we weren't prepared for. It's not necessarily our fault overall, because maybe the expectation in prior classes weren't there. Oh well. Not too much to harp on that, but some of the videos could be done better. Overall, I'm sure that there's going to be a rescoping of the videos to deliver the information in a different manner. But for me to get the information, I think there's a lot of things missing. And you guys see, even in your videos here, it was hard for me to get some of the information out of the videos just because in some of the views and some of the way that the video was cropped, a good third of the screen was missing. So I couldn't really tell if there was something I was missing, if there was something I could glean in order to make something that I was trying to do work, which was a challenge. And it didn't allow me to. I was more stuck on trying to figure out if I'm missing something, and maybe attributing to that is why it's not working, rather than really sitting well with the information. But then I probably could have asked and spent more time otherwise, but I'm also very visual. Listen, a few things that could have used more clarification. The assignment as a whole, I mean, it's very clear. Think of an app, do these things, and make sure it does these things. But then, how do you plan accordingly for week 3? Now week 3 still says in the activity that we're going to use remote data source. All right, and that we're going to push data. Okay. Now, let's see. Week 2 action items. Cool. We're going to do that. And now week 3. If we go into week 3. Which is this week up here. If I go by this, then we're pushing data to a remote data source. I haven't found an API. Now, if I go, despite your words, if I'm just reading this, and this is what got me, and I found a lot of things with this class that are just kind of still sloppy. These lines right here do not coincide with what you've told me, so why are they still there? So, despite the fact that I'm not going to let it trip me up too much, it's going to trip a lot of other people up, so I think you should fix that. I noticed that you fixed the other thing I brought to your attention, which was here. That's an easy fix, but I think those things need to be taken out if they're not supposed to be there, or I'm just still not clear, which then that implies I need a little bit more clarification. Other than that, that was my week 2, and I have no other choice to be ready for week 3. I'll see you guys.